Okay, so topic HCF and LCM, highest common factor and least common multiple. Suppose we take two numbers. Suppose A is equal to 8 and B is equal to 10. So we can say the factors of 8 are 2 into 2 into 2, and factors of 10 2 into 5. So now you can see the highest common factor of 8 and 10 is only 2. So HCF is 2 and LCM 2 into 2 into 2 into 5. So that is 40. So we have got the HCF as 2 and LCM as 40, and the numbers were 8 and 10. So this HCF and LCM we take only for positive numbers. That point should be clear. We don't consider HCF and LCM for negative number or 0. Only for positive numbers, or you can say natural numbers. So is it clear now? 8 and 10, the HCF is 2 and LCM is 40. Now we can see a correlation between this numbers and HCF LCM. So numbers were 8 and 10 and HCF was 2, LCM was 40. Now we can see if you multiply the numbers A into B, 8 into 10, 80, and if we multiply their HCF and LCM, 2 into 40, so their product is also equal to 80. Means both are equal. So the conclusion from this is, if we take two positive numbers A and B, their product and product of their HCF and LCM is always equal. This is valid for two positive numbers A and B. So product of numbers and their product of HCF LCM is always equal. So now we can list down some properties of HCF and LCM, which you can note it down. So first property already we discussed, product of numbers and product of their HCF and LCM is always equal. Second property, HCF, highest common factor, is always less than equal to the least number of the given numbers. It is always less than equal to the least number. In our example, we have found the HCF as 2, which is less than 8. But it can be equal also. How it can be equal? If both the numbers are equal, suppose A is also 8, B is also 8, then HCF is also 8. In that case only it is equal. Otherwise, if numbers are different, HCF will always be less than the least number of the given numbers. Similarly, LCM will always be greater than equal to the highest number of the series. In our example, LCM was 40, which is greater than 10. So LCM is always equal to or greater than the highest number or the greatest number. Equal only when the numbers are equal. Suppose numbers are 10 and 10, then LCM will also be equal to 10. Next very important property is HCF is a factor of LCM. HCF is a factor of LCM because HCF is a factor of the numbers. so it is also a factor of their LCM. Just in our example, HCF was 2 and LCM was 40, so 2 is a factor of 40. Similarly, fifth property, LCM is a multiple of HCF. Lowest common multiple of the numbers will also be multiple of their HCF or highest common factor. So these are the 5 important properties of HCF and LCM. Now moving on to the HCF. Suppose HCF of big numbers. We have to take HCF of big numbers. Small numbers we can make factors and find the HCF, but big numbers are involved. Then how to find the HCF of big numbers? So for that we have to follow a method that is called long division method. Long division method. Now we'll see how it works, the long division method for HCF of big numbers. Suppose numbers are 84 and 96. Okay, so two numbers given are 84 and 96. We have to find their HCF. So what I will do, I will divide the bigger number by the smaller number. So 96 I will divide by 84 and find the remainder. So it will not divide 84, will not divide 96 completely. Remainder will be 12. Now next step, this remainder 12. Now we have to divide 84 by this remainder 12. So 12 7 is 84, completely divide. So final remainder will be 0. So now the remainder has come 0. So now here we have to stop. The last divisor which we divided 84 by was 12. So this is the HCF. HCF of 84 and 96 is 12. Because when we divided 84 by 12, the remainder came 0. So when the final remainder has come 0, we have to see the last divisor. The last divisor was 12. So 12 is the HCF of 84 and 96. We can take one more example to clarify these things. Suppose we have to find the HCF of 395 we have to find the HCF of 315 and 495. So both are big numbers, 315 and 495. Now again we will use this method of long division to find the HCF. So now you can see how it works. Divide 495 by 315. So we will get the remainder as 180. Now again divide 315 by this remainder 180. So now what will be the remainder? 315 minus 180, that is 135. Now we will divide 135 . So by 135 we will divide 180. So successfully we are dividing by the remainders. Again we will get some remainder. What remainder we will get? 180 minus 135, that is 45. Now again we have to divide 135 by the remainder 45. So now what will be the final remainder? If we divide 135 45, 45 into 3 135, so completely it is dividing. So final remainder now we are getting 0. So we'll stop here, and last divisor was 45. So this is our HCF. HCF of 315 and 495 is 45. So I hope it is clear to you. Long division method. So for a practice, you can note down one question. HCF of 444 and 629. This is your practice question. Solution of which we'll discuss later. HCF and LCM of fractions. This is a very important topic. Sometimes you may get question based on this in the campus. HCF and LCM of fractions. Fractions, you know, there are two parts of fraction, numerator and denominator. So HCF of given fractions is given by this formula. HCF of numerators divided by LCM of denominators. Very important formula. HCF of fractions is HCF of numerators. The different fractions, you take the numerator first and find their HCF. Divide by LCM of denominators. The denominators, all the fractions, first you find their LCM and then divide. So this whole fraction will be the HCF of the given fractions. Similarly, LCM of fractions will be LCM of numerators divided by HCF of denominators. Now you can see the difference. For LCM of fractions, first you have to find the LCM of numerators, then divided by HCF of denominators. So both these are important formula for finding HCF and LCM of fractions. So we'll take one example to clarify the things. And one more important thing to note, point to note in this is, all the fractions should be in their lowest or simplest form. Means if a fraction there is a common factor, so we can cancel that factor and simplify it first, then apply this formula. So this is a very important point in applying this formula. All the fractions should be in their lowest or simplest form. So now I will take an example to clarify how to apply this formula. Suppose these three fractions are given to you, P, Q and R. 4 by 6, 4 by 9 and R is 8 by 27. So P is 4 by 6, Q fraction is 4 by 9, R fraction is 8 by 27. So first see, are they in simplest form or we can simplify. So now you can see Q and R are their simplest form, but P we can simplify. The common factor is 2. So I can make it 2 by 3. So now the simplest fractions are 2 by 3, 4 by 9 and 8 by 27. Now I can apply this formula. HCF of this fraction is HCF of numerators, that are 2, 4 and 8, divide by LCM of denominators, 3, 9 and 27. Okay, I applied this formula. HCF of numerators upon LCM of denominators to find the final HCF of the fractions. So 2, 4, 8, the numerator HCF is 2 and denominator 3, 9, 27, their LCM is 27. So the HCF is 2 upon 27 of these three fractions P, Q and R. I hope it is clear to you. Now we will take the LCM. The final fractions were 2 by 3, 4 by 9 and 8 by 27. LCM of these fractions. So LCM of numerators 2, 4, 8 divide by HCF of denominator 3, 9 and 27. So now you can see LCM of 2, 4, 8 will be 8 and HCF 3, 9, 27, the highest common factor is 3, 8 by 3. So HCF was 2 by 27 and LCM has come out to be 8 by 3. This is how you have to take the fractions HCF and LCM. I hope now it is clear to you. So now I will take one campus question which has appeared in campus interview 2017. Here you have to find the fractions were 1 by 17, 2 by 19 and 3 by 23. 1 by 17, 2 by 19 and 3 by 23. Only you have to find the LCM of these fractions. 1 by 17, 2 by 19 and 3 by 23. So applying this formula, LCM of 1, 2, 3 divide by HCF of denominators 17, 19, 23. So LCM of 1, 2, 3 will be 1 into 2 into 3, that is 6. Now you can see in the denominator 17, 19, 23, all three are prime numbers. So their HCF will always be 1 because they are co-prime numbers. So 6 upon 1, the final answer is 6. So LCM of 1 by 17, 2 by 19 and 3 by 23 is 6. So this was actual campus question which was asked in the aptitude exam in 2017. Even we can take for the decimals. Suppose you have to find the HCF of these decimals. 0.14, 0.49, 0.63 and the three decimals are given to you, 0.14, 0.49 and 0.63. You have to find the HCF. So first we have to convert into fraction with same denominator. Keep in mind the same denominator has to be same. So 0.14 I can write as 14 upon 100. 0.49 can be converted 49 by 100 and 0.63 63 by 100. We have to find the HCF. So HCF of 14, 49 and 63. So you can clearly see these are all multiples of 7. The HCF of numerator will be 7 and LCM of denominators, because denominators are same, so it will be 100 only. So 7 upon 100. But again now you have to convert into decimal because the question was asked for the decimals. So 700 0.07 is the final answer or the final HCF of the given fractions. Even we may get polynomials. We have to find the HCF of polynomials. Polynomials, you know, involves both constant and variables. Suppose there are two polynomials given to you, P and Q. P is 4x square y cube z to power 4. So 4 is the constant here, x, y, z are the variable and powers are 2, 3 and 4. Another polynomial is given to you like this, 6x cube y square. Here the constant is 6, variables are x and y, powers are 3 and 2 respectively. So you can see there is no z here in Q, but in P z is also there. The finding their HCF of the polynomials, first see the constant number 4 and 6. So their HCF will be 2. Now for the variable part, see the common variable. Common variable are only x and y. To write the common variable x and y. Now see the power. In P there is x square and Q there is x cube. So we have to see the minimum power, because that will be the common factor. The least power of x is 2. So 2x square. And for y also the least power is 2. So HCF we have got as 2x square y square. Is it clear? Now for LCM, first we have to find the LCM of the numbers 4 and 6. So that is 12. Now write all the variables x, y, z. In LCM all the variables will come. And power, the highest power will come. X cube, y cube, z cube power 4. The final LCM will be 12x cube, y cube, z to power 4. And HCF was 2x square, y square. Now for yourself, you can verify product of their polynomials and product of HCF and LCM is also equal, which we have discussed in the case of numbers a and b. A into b is equal to HCF LCM. Here also the same property holds good. P into Q, the product of polynomials and product of their HCF and LCM will always be equal. Now we will see some practical applications of LCM and HCF. How we can apply LCM and HCF in our daily life? That is very important. Practical applications. So first we will consider LCM. LCM is always applied in practical situation where there is a repeated process involved. A process is repeated at certain time period and frequency, then we can apply LCM. For example, signal lights. Or traffic signal lights, you can say. You know the signals, their circuit is electronic, so we can set their frequency and time period. So all the traffic signal lights will change after a certain time period. So we can apply the LCM there. Another situation is ringing of bells. Alarm clocks. Or even circular races. So all these are practical applications of LCM. So the keyword you will get like signal lights, bells, alarm clocks, or question based on circular races. So now we will consider some examples to clarify it. Suppose in a temple there are 5 bells. Which ring regularly after 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes and 10 minutes respectively. Means these are electronic bells where their circuit is set in such a manner that they will always ring after 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes and 10 minutes respectively. So different time period of all the 5 bells are set. Now question is, in a day, how many times will they ring together? मीन्स एक साथ कितनी बार बजेंगी वो एक दिन में? They have different time periods, but certain time will come when they will ring together. So that we have to find in a day how many times they will ring together. So that is the question we have to solve. So we have to apply the LCM here because this is repeated process. So first find the LCM of their time periods, which was 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes and 10 minutes respectively. So when you calculate the LCM, it will come out to be 120 minutes, or you can say 2 hours. So after every 2 hours, all the 5 bells will ring together because that is the lowest common multiple of 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So after every 2 hours, all the 5 bells will ring together. Now we have to find in a day. So day means 24 hours. The number of times will be 24 divided by the common time or LCM 2 or 12 times. So in a day, all the 5 bells will ring together 12 times. So that is a practical application of LCM. Is it clear to you? We will take one more example based on traffic signal lights. Because these are frequently asked questions in the aptitude exam. Traffic signal. Suppose there are 3 different signals at different crossing. We can say A, B and C. signal at A changes to red after every 48 seconds. So this is the time period of signal A. Signal B is set such like that it changes after every 72 seconds. It changes to red. Electronic circuit is set. And signal C, its time period is 108 seconds. So different time period, 48 seconds, 72 seconds and 108 seconds of three different signals. Now what happens? All the three signals were switched on. At 8 a.m. in the morning. Exactly at 8 a.m. all the three signals were switched on. A, B, C. So switched on means they were showing red exactly at 8 a.m. Now what we have to find in this? Next time. We have to find the exact time next time when all the three ABC will be read together. So after 8 a.m. when they are switched on, what time again they will show red together? ABC will be read together. So now again this is practical application of LCM. So first we have to find the LCM of their time period. 48 second, 72 second and 108 second. So if we calculate the LCM correctly, it will come out to be 432 second. LCM is 432 second of 48, 72 and 108. But we measure time in hour, minute and second. So we have to convert this 432 in minute and second. So what I will do, divide by 60 because there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So when you divide 432 by 60, you will get 7 minute and 12 second exactly. So 432 second is equal to 7 minute and 12 second. So what will our answer will be after 8 a.m. next time will be 8:07:12. Format is hour, minute, second. So at this exact time, 8 hours, 7 minutes and 12 seconds, again all the three will be read together. So I hope now it is clear how to apply the concept of LCM in practical situations like bells, traffic signals, etc., where repeated process is involved. Now we'll see the application of HCF, practical application of HCF, highest common factor. HCF is always applied when we have to divide a big group into smaller groups of equal size, or you can say equal numbers. When we have to divide a big group into smaller groups of equal size or equal numbers. So this is the key point here, when to apply HCF. Again we will take a practical example to clarify this application of HCF. Suppose there are 12th board exams CBSE in a school. The school had been made as a center for this 12th board exams. So now the number of students which are appearing for this board exams, suppose there are 3 streams. Science, there are 192 students which we have to appear for board exams in this center or this school. 192 students of science streams, commerce 144, and arts 120. So there are 190 students of science stream, 144 appearing for commerce, and 120 for arts. All these students have to appear at the same center, but they have to be seated in different classrooms of equal size. Equal size here means number of seats or number of chairs in that room. How many students will sit in that particular room? So they have to be equal number, but they have to be seated separately. Means we cannot mix up the students of science and commerce together or commerce and arts together. In a particular room only science students will sit. In different room only commerce students, and another room only art students. But the number of chairs or the number of seats in the all the rooms will be equal. So basically they have to be divided into equal size or equal numbers. So the question here is, what is the minimum number of classrooms required? Minimum number of classrooms required to seat all the students. In each classroom there will be equal number of students, but separately. So here again we have to apply the HCF, because we have to divide a big group into smaller groups of equal size. So HCF of 192, 144 and 120. Now there are 3 numbers involved. So what I can do, first I can take the HCF of smaller numbers 120 and 144. So by long division I will find the HCF, which will come out to be 24. This is HCF of 120 and 144. But there is third number also involved, 192. So again I will take the HCF of 24 and 192 to get the final HCF. So final HCF will be 24. So 24 is the HCF of all these 3 numbers, 192, 144 and 120. But what does this practically means? What is the meaning of 24? This is the number of students in each classroom. So in each classroom there are 24 students sitting, but separately, science, commerce and arts. So this is not our final answer. This is only the HCF. What was the question asked? Minimum number of classrooms. We have to find the number of classrooms to sit all the students. So how will you find? The total number of students divided by HCF. So 192 plus 144 plus 120 divided by 24. So now you can see the final answer will be 8 plus 6 plus 5. The final answer is 19. So the minimum number of classrooms required to sit all the students are 19. 8 for science, 6 for commerce and 5 for arts. So now I hope it is clear how to apply your HCF practically when we have to divide a big group into smaller groups. Models of HCF and LCM. So in last lecture we have studied about the theory of HCF and LCM and the practical applications. How do you have to apply them in practical situations, LCM and HCF. So now we move on to the models of HCF and LCM. Models means theoretical models of HCF and LCM. So there are two models of LCM and two models of HCF. So both have two models each. So first we will study about the LCM model 1. This is also called constant remainder model. So the name of this LCM model 1 is constant remainder model. Now what does it mean, constant remainder model? We will study with the help of a example. Suppose there is a natural number n. When you divide n by 5, you get the remainder as 2. And the same number n, when you divide by 7, again you get the remainder as 2. So remainder is same or constant here. Remainder is 2. But the divisors are different, 5 and 7. So when you divide n by 5, you get remainder 2. When you divide the same number n by 7, again you get the remainder 2. The remainder is same. So how to find this n, the natural number n? So what I will do, first I will take the LCM of 5 and 7. So that is 5 into 7, 35. Now I will add the remainder 2 because the remainder is same, 2 in each case. So 35 plus 2, 37. So one value of n I have got 37. Now you can verify. You divide 37 by 5, remainder is 2. If you divide 37 by 7, again the remainder is 2. So the number can be 37. But is it only the only solution possible? The only number n which can have value equal to 37, or there are some different other numbers also possible which can satisfy this condition. When divided by 5 and 7, remainder is 2. So let us see if there is some other number possible also. 37 is one of the solution. If I take the number 72, again if we divide 72 by 5, remainder is 2. 72 by 7, remainder is 2. So one of the solution was 37. Now I have got 72. That means more than one solution is possible. In fact, there are infinite solutions possible for this number n. Means n can have infinite number of values. Two values we have seen, 37 and 72. So how to find all these values? There must be some general equation for n. The general equation for n I can write as 35k plus 2. 35k plus 2, where k is some constant. K can have any value. K can be any whole number. So now you can see this is the general equation, 35k plus 2. As you change the value of k, you will get different values of n. So we have got 37, 72. Now if I put k is equal to 3, you get n is equal to 35 into 3 plus 2, which is 107. So on. So infinite values are possible. So the general equation of n which I derived is 35k plus 2. So this was one example to clarify this model. So now you can note down the actual definition and equation of this model 1, LCM model 1, which is constant remainder. If a number n is divided by different divisors, say a, b, c and so on, leaving same remainder r in each case. This is important. The remainder has to be same or constant remainder. So number n is divided by different divisors a, b, c, leaving same remainder r in each case. The general equation of n can be written as k into LCM of the different divisors a, b, c plus r. K into LCM of a, b, c plus the remainder r. K can have any value, as I have told you, any whole number and so on. Okay. So this is the general equation of n in the LCM model 1, which is constant remainder model. K into the LCM of the different divisors a, b, c and so on plus the constant remainder r. Now coming back to the same question which we have discussed earlier, n divided by 5, remainder is 2, n divided by 7, again the remainder is same, 2. Okay. So now the equation which I had found, LCM of 5 and 7, 35. So 35k plus 2. So this is the general equation, and we have got different values like 37, 72, 107 and so on for n. Now suppose somebody asks you what can be the highest 3-digit value of number n in this case. What will be the highest 3-digit number n which when divided by 5 or 7 leaves the same remainder 2 in each case. Okay. So now what we have to do, how to solve this highest 3-digit number of n. So again I will write the equation first, 35k plus 2. So theoretically the highest 3-digit number is 999. But 999 is not of this type, 35k plus 2, you can see. So we'll start with 999, which is highest 3-digit natural number. So what I will do, I will divide it by 35, because in this equation It is a multiple of 35k plus 2. So it should be multiple of 35 and plus 2. So I will divide 999 by 35. So 35 2s are 70. So what you will get? 29 and 9, 299. So now I will see 35 into 8, 280. The final remainder is 90, 19. So when I divide 999 by 35, I got remainder 19, which is less than 35. So further we cannot divide. So we have to stop here. The final remainder is 19. So what I will do? I will subtract 19 from 999. So that is 980. So 980 is the multiple of 35. We can see 35 into 28, 980. So this is the highest 3-digit multiple of 35. But our equation is 35k plus 2. The value of n will be 980 plus 2, which is 982. So 982 is our final answer. Highest 3-digit number which when divided by 5 or 7 will give you remainder 2 in each case. So I hope it is clear how you have got to this answer 982. So first form the equation 35k plus 2 from the model. Then start with 999, which is highest 3-digit number. Divide by 35. Get the remainder 19. You subtract the remainder 19 and then add 2 to get the final answer 982. Now there may be some different type of question also asked in this question. Equation is 35k plus 2. We have found the highest 3-digit number. A different type of question will be, what is the smallest 4-digit value of n? Now we have to the smallest number, 4-digit number n, which will satisfy this equation, which when divided by 5 or 7 will give you remainder as 2. So now how to proceed for this question? Smallest 4-digit value of n. So again I can write down the equation as 35k plus 2. The smallest 4-digit number is 1000. Start from 1000 and divide by 35. So again we will divide 35. 73, 30 and 0, 300. Again it will divide 8 times. So now I have got the remainder as 20 when I divide 1000 by 35. Now what I will do? Should I subtract 20 from this number 1000? So again I will get 980. But that is a 3-digit number. Our target is to find smallest 4-digit number. So I have to add something to 1000. But I will not add the remainder. Remainder is 20. What I will add is the difference of the divisor and the remainder. 1000 plus 35 minus 20. That is 1015 is the multiple of 35. Smallest 4-digit multiple of 35. Plus 2, because our equation is 35k plus 2. So in this case the answer will be 1017. So 1017 is the smallest 4-digit number n, which when divided by 5 or 7 will give you a remainder 2 in both cases. So now you can see the difference. In the case of highest number, when we have to decrease the number, simply add the subtract the remainder. Which we have done 980 plus 2. And when we have to find the lowest 4-digit number or any digit number, that means to increase the number. So when you have to increase the number, you have to add the difference, divisor minus remainder. So this is the difference. If you have to decrease, subtract the remainder. If you have to increase, add the difference. D means divisor, R means the remainder. The difference of divisor and remainder has to be added to get the lowest number. So these were different type of questions you may get. Before moving on, we can solve a actual campus question which was asked in campus aptitude exam 2018. So this is actual practical application of LCM model 1. It's a very lengthy question. Suppose I have n number of toffees. To be distributed among children. So there is a party, there are some children are there, I have to distribute n number of toffees among the children. Now how to distribute? If I distribute among 8, 10 or 16 children equally, then one toffee is left out in each case. That means if I distribute that n number of toffees among 8 children, 10 children or 16 children equally, means each child is getting equal number of toffees. Then I observe that one toffee is left out in each case, means the remainder is 1. But if I distribute those toffees, n number of toffees, among 23 children equally, then no toffee is left. So when I distribute among 23 children equally, no toffee is left, means सारी टॉफी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो गई, सब खत्म हो गई, कुछ भी नहीं बची. The question is, what is the smallest value of n? And we have to find the smallest value of the number of toffees which I have, n, based on this information. So now I will apply this LCM model 1 because there was a constant remainder. So k into LCM of 8, 10, 16 plus 1. So if you find the LCM of 8, 10, 16, it comes out to be 80. So the equation of n is 80k plus 1. It's a multiple of 80 plus 1. But based on the second information which I told you, if I distribute them among 23 children equally, then no toffee is left out. So what does that mean? Means n is some multiple of 23. 23 into m. M is multiple. So now n is same, means n has to satisfy both the equations simultaneously. N is 80k plus 1 and n is also multiple of 23. So we have to find a common solution for these both equations. So let us put k is equal to 1. Then n is 80 plus 1, 81. But is it a multiple of 23? So we can see it is not a multiple of 23. So not equal to 23 into m. That means 81 is not satisfying both the equations. So 81 cannot be the solution. So we move on, put k is equal to 2. N is 80 into 2, that is 160 plus 1, 161. So this is another solution possible, 161 number of toffees. Now let us see, is it a multiple of 23? So now I can divide by 23 and see it is a multiple of 23. 23 into 7. So when you distribute 161 toffees among 23 children, so each will get 7 toffees and no toffees will be left out. That means 161 is the final solution because it is satisfying both 80k plus 1 and 23m. So I got the final solution. Number of toffees is 161, which is the smallest value possible for n. So this was the practical application of LCM model 1. Now we move on to LCM model 2. Which is called constant difference model. First was constant remainder, and this model 2 is constant difference model. Difference of divisor and remainder. So here the difference is same of divisor and remainder. So which I have shown by small t. So now let us take a example to understand this model 2. Suppose there is a number n. When you divide by 6, you get the remainder as 5. Same n when you divide by 5, you get the remainder as 4. So here we see the remainders are different. When you divide by 6, you are getting remainder 5. But when you are dividing same number of 5, you are getting remainder as 4. But what is the same or equal thing or the constant thing in these both cases? Is the difference 6 minus 5 or 5 minus 4 equal to 1. So this is constant difference. Difference of divisor and remainder in each case is 1. So now how to get the smallest value of n possible? So first I will take the LCM of 6 and 5, and then subtract this difference 1. The LCM of 6 and 5 is 30 minus the difference 1. The smallest value possible of n is 29. 30 minus 1. So here you have to subtract the difference, constant difference. In model 1 we have seen that we are adding the constant remainder, but if there is a constant difference we have to subtract that. 30 minus 1, 29. Now you can verify. 29 by 6, remainder is 5. 29 if divided by 5, remainder is 4. So the general equation which we can form here is n is equal to 30k minus 1. The smallest value is 29. Now if you put k is equal to 2, you get 59, which is also valid. K is equal to 3, 89, and so on. But the smallest number is 29, which satisfies this equation. Now again, you can note down the definitions of model 2, constant difference model. If n is divided by ABC, leaving remainders P, Q, R respectively, such that A minus P is equal to B minus Q is equal to C minus R is equal to D. So here the difference is constant. A minus P equal to B minus Q is equal to C minus R is equal to D. Then general equation I can write for n is K into LCM of different divisors ABC minus D. This is the general equation of the number n. K into LCM of ABC minus the constant difference D. Here K cannot be equal to 0. K can be a natural number only. So here K will start from 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. Why K cannot be 0? Because if you put K is equal to 0, the n will be equal to minus D, some negative number, but natural number cannot be negative. So value of K 0 is not possible. K will start from 1 only. So this is the model 2. I hope it is clear to you. Now moving on to HCF models. Here also we have two models, model 1 and model 2. So what is model 1 about? Suppose there is a number n. If n divides different numbers, suppose say ABC, leaving remainders P, Q, R respectively. So here n is dividing, that means n is some factor. Dividing different number ABC, leaving remainders P, Q, R respectively. Then the largest value of n possible is HCF of A minus P, B minus Q, and C minus R. So largest value of n possible is the HCF, highest common factor of a minus p, b minus q and c minus r. Means first we have to subtract the remainders, respective remainders. Then take the HCF of the remaining numbers. We don't have to take the HCF of ABC. First you have to subtract the remainders a minus p, b minus q and c minus r. Then take the HCF of remaining numbers. So that will be the largest value possible of n. So now how to apply this model 1. Suppose n divides 529 and 453, giving remainders 4 and 3 respectively. Means when n divides 529, remainder is 4. When n divides 453, remainder is 3. So what is the largest value of n possible? So here I don't have to take the HCF of 529 453. I have to take the HCF of 529 minus 4 and 453 minus 3. So first I have to subtract the remainders. That means I have to take the HCF of 525 and 450, which will give me the largest value of n possible. So finally I have to take the HCF of 525 and 450. So that I can find by long division, which comes out to be 75. That means our answer is 75. So 75 is the largest number or the biggest number, which will divide 529 and 453, giving remainders 4 and 3 respectively. So this was about HCF model 1 and how to apply it. Now I move out to HCF model 2. Here also there is some constant remainder involved. But the value of that remainder is not given in the question. So what will be question like that for model 2? Largest value of n which divides ABC, giving same remainder in each case. So n is such a number which will divide different numbers ABC, giving same remainder in each case, but value of remainder is not given. In the question. So you will not know what is the value of the remainder R. Only you will get 3 numbers ABC. You have to find the n, which will divide all the 3 numbers ABC and giving same remainder, but we don't know the remainder. So how to proceed for this type of question? We are giving only 3 numbers ABC. So what I will do, first find the difference. And difference has to be positive of 2 numbers at a time. So suppose B is greater than A and C is greater than B. So B minus A. Other difference can be C minus B. So I have taken two differences, B minus A and C minus B. And then I will take the HCF of this difference. So that will give me N. Is it clear? You are given three numbers, so you have to take two differences. Suppose B minus A and C minus B. I can take C minus A also. That will give you the same answer. But take any two differences and take the HCF of that differences. So that will give you the final answer N, which is the largest number which will divide ABC, leaving same remainder in each case. So now I will apply to some practical question to clarify this HCF model 2. Find largest value of N which will divide 30, 44 and 72. So the numbers are 30, 44 and 72, giving same remainder in each case. So this is our question. We have to find the largest value of N which will divide 30, 44 and 72, giving same remainder in each case. And the value of remainder is not given to you. So I will apply now this HCF model 2. So here A is 30, B is 44 and C is 72. So N will be the HCF of the difference. See, I take the difference 30, 44 minus 30 and other difference 72 minus 44. Okay. That means HCF of 14 and this 28. So the final answer is 14, which is HCF of 14 and 28, which was the difference of 44 and 30 and 72 and 44. And I could have taken this difference also, 72 minus 30, that is 42, and find the HCF of 14 and 42. So that is also same. So you can take any two difference and find the HCF. So final answer I have got is N equal to 14, which will divide 30, 44 and 72, giving same remainder. So I have got the answer as 14, but still I don't know the remainder, so we can verify. Is it the same remainder in each case? We divide 30 by 14, remainder is 14 to the 28, remainder is 2. 44 upon 14, 14 3 is 42, again the remainder is 2. Third number 72 divided by 14, 14 5 is 70, again the remainder is 2. So now we have verified, we are getting the same remainder, 2 in each case. But that is not important, the value of remainder. What is important? Same remainder. This is just for verification. Already we have got the answer as 14. So this is just for a verification that it is leaving the same remainder 2 in each case when it's dividing 30, 44 or 72. So now I hope it is clear to you how